directions. This is Robert Pilot of Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake. I'm here to ask you for your support. Finding honest Native-centered news is not easy, but with your support, we're able to provide accurate information about Standing Rock, Line 3, treaty violations, and COVID-19 in our Native communities. Please visit Native Roots Radio Network on Patreon and donate if you can. That's Native Roots Radio Network on Patreon. Pinigigi, and thank you for your support. Support comes from the Walker Arts Center. Did you know that the Walker has a cinema that shows film almost every week? From artist talks, genre-defined performances, and world premieres to archival shorts and experimental soundscapes, the Walker Cinema explores all modes of global and local filmmaking. Get your first tickets for free. Visit walkerart.org/cinema to learn more. That's walkerart.org/cinema. See you at the movies. Aho, this is Robert Pilot. For Native relatives, healing is more than just sobriety. It's reclaiming Indigenous masculinity as a sacred, balanced force. Join Hunter Thundercloud for Native Roots Radio presents Controlled Fire. We explore how personal recovery uplifts our communities. It's time men step back into roles as mentors and spiritual leaders. Recovery is collective, and it starts with us. Tune in the first and third Wednesday of every month at 6 p.m. for Native Roots Radio presents Controlled Fire. Let's tend the fire together.
Ever wonder how far you could go with a bachelor's or master's degree? Metro State University is hosting 2 open house events in February. Learn about our bachelor's degree programs on February 24th. Explore master's degrees, doctoral degrees, and graduate certificates on February 26th. Find out about financial aid options and how to apply. Discover how Metro State can help you take the next step in your career. Sign up today at metrostate.edu/open house. You belong at Metro.
The city of Minneapolis is now on Native Roots Radio with Minneapolis AIR. AIR stands for American Indian Relations. Guest host Christine McDonald talks to people about important things affecting the city's Native communities. Minneapolis AIR dives into topics like public safety, public health, elections, and so much more. Tune in to Minneapolis AIR on Native Roots Radio from 5 to 6 p.m. on the second Wednesday of every month, right here on AM 950.
With your AM 950 weather, I'm Patrick Lilia. Tonight, cloudy with a low of 17, and Tuesday, a chance of rain and snow with a high of 37. The Great Wall has been your home for Chinese favorites since 1981. Don't miss the sesame chicken, mushu pork with Chinese pancakes, or Peking duck. Stop in at the restaurant on France Avenue and 45th Street along the Minneapolis-Edina City line, or check them out at greatwallrestaurant.us.
Portions of Native Roots Radio may be pre-recorded.
It's a good day to be indigenous. Get up, stand up.
They are going to become more brutal.
Couldn't cut. He need cut again.
Because all the hippies were trying to be Indians anyway.
They're going to become more repressive because it's a matter of dollars and their illusionary concepts of power.
Hey, Victor.
We must live in balance with the earth.
And also with recent happenings at Wounded Knee.
I am awake.
Welcome to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, and I'm your host, Wakanja Hade. Hey, Kadagi to all my friends and relatives in 4 directions. You present I'm Awake, and I'm your host, Robert Wendy. Mm-hmm. Native issues are Native issues. Hey, a lot going on, Wendy. York is
They would just, you couldn't even see them, really. So, yeah, it's gonna be days before they dig out.
Wish we were somewhere else.
I know. I don't know. I always like extreme weather, as long as, it's extreme.
I agree 100%. Enda Young had a powwow this weekend and made it there and saw the grandkids, and that was good time there, and saw a lot of people. But also Saturday night, Wendy, I just want to we have our favorite
yes
artists.
Yes, so we went to Target Center on Saturday night and saw Brandy Carlisle. We've both been fans for a really long time. We saw her live for the first time at the Minnesota State Fair a few years back. Mm-hmm. But we've been fans of hers for a really long time. I kind of love her music. It's different, and it's different. It's kind of folky rock,
country rock,
rock. Yeah, it's this is how they describe her music. country influence, especially in harmonies and structure. It's not like Nashville or anything like that. It's American folk, rock, powerhouse vocals, and deeply personal storytelling, which I love. And she's just so authentic, and she talks to the audience, and she's been playing with these guys, the twins, Hanser Roth, Phil and Tim. That's who she plays with. They're twins, and they play the guitar and harmonize with her. And it's just like, it's more than just a concert, really. It's more like like you said, a spiritual experience. Like you look around the crowd, and on some songs you just see people like with tears streaming down their face, and then other songs people are up and dancing and swaying, and it's really something else. So if you ever get to see Brandi Carlile, check her out. And she had a live stream that you could go on and log on. She charged money for it, and she raised $600,000 for charities.
Minneapolis charities
in Minneapolis, for what we're going through here. And she really talked a lot about it, and it was really, really, really super emotional, and really I loved it. I really did. Brandi Carlile. And the thing is, concert tickets nowadays are just ridiculous. I don't know when it changed, because I know, like, when I was a kid, like we would go to concerts
all the
like
time.
when I was 16 years old. I remember going to the Garden. I wasn't even 16. I was 15 years old. I went with my boyfriend
What was his name?
Andrew Siegel.
See, I knew you knew his name.
We took the Long Island Railroad into Madison Square Garden.
Yes,
right at Penn Station, and I'm 15.
Wow.
Barely. I remember I had a cast on my leg because I dislocated my knee for the 6th time. But anyway, I had a cast on my leg from my thigh to my ankle. Here we are. I can't even believe my mother let me go. But anyway,
I do. I believe it.
I get on the railroad. I'm in my cast, whatever. I mean, we had nosebleed seats, so here I am hobbling up one step at a time. Me and Andy. My first concert ever was ELO, Electric Light Orchestra.
Mine was Blue Oyster Cult for a laser light show, and we got all really prepared for the laser light show, and it was just like kind of a high-powered flashlight going around the...
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, oh, man.
But I mean, I don't even remember, like, he bought the ticket, so I don't even know how much he spent, but I don't...
$650 was like a lot of money, and I remember seeing the Stones the first time for $650, and that was like in 76.
Yeah.
With their farewell... their farewell tour. In 76, and then I went to like 4 other farewell tours from them, and
so one group
I was I saw them at the Metrodome, and I was with Lance, my buddy Lance, and I think I was sober then too, so I think I got a contact high, so I don't know. I should find out when that concert was and change my sobriety date.
But it used to be affordable. I saw Bruce Springsteen. We're by the way going to see Bruce Springsteen on March 31st, and I'm really excited because I saw him back. We couldn't remember the year. I think it was like 1983. I'm going to say it was New Year's Eve. I could look it up. It was at Nassau Coliseum. And we were like on the floor on the 5th row. We were like so lucky that we got those tickets. And he played for 4 hours. So we're really looking forward to seeing Bruce. This will be my third time seeing him.
Yeah, I've seen him like 8 times. And the first time I saw him, Wendy, I know this story is at the old Met. We used to crash concerts. People would spring the door open, and then hundreds of people would rush in. And the Kicks were playing at the old Met, and they were selling out. But it was really a big party in the parking lot where the Mall of America is now. And got in there, didn't know who Bruce Springsteen. I knew one of the songs, and I hated his voice.
Oh yeah.
And he, like you said, he played for 4 hours, and I was a fan.
I know he puts on a show that is just unreal. And I think honestly, everything that we've been through here in Minneapolis, Bruce Springsteen came up with that song. It's an older song that he had to.
A little bit.
Yeah. I think it's just going to be so special to end the change of the concert anymore.
No.
I mean, if you want to sit in a decent seat and not up in the nosebleed seats, like it's really, you can't afford it. It's ridiculous. When did it change?
I had in the concert talk, but I just want to say this is that when people started singing with the groups right in the back of my head, and I'd get into concerts for a good 10 years. And we went to, I think our last one was Brandy Carlisle. Oh, wow. Hey, Unity Clinic, and we're going to be talking about the work that they do. I'm the king of so I'd be saying for the first 10 minutes of the show.
We got to talk and spread the word about Brandy Carlisle.
Men's youth US
exactly.
Hockey team. Later, Trump lovers. Support comes from the Walker Arts Center, an art space that's more than the spoon and cherry. Galleries celebrate contemporary visual art, including indigenous artists like Edgar Heap of Birds from the Cheyenne and Arapaho nations, and Jim Demeny from the Ojibwe Nation. Additionally, film screens, cinema, and performances are shown on stage. And the Walker is free every Thursday night and free every day for citizens and members of tribal nations. Learn more at walkerart.org.
The city of Minneapolis is now on Native Roots Radio with Minneapolis AIR. AIR stands for American Indian Relations. Guest host Christine McDonald talks to people about important things affecting the city's Native communities. Minneapolis AIR dives into topics like public safety, public health, elections, and so much more. Tune in to Minneapolis AIR on Native Roots Radio from 5 to 6 p.m. on the second Wednesday of every month, right here on AM 950.
Thinking about college? Consider Minnesota Private Colleges. These 18 nonprofit institutions keep the focus on students with small classes and professors who will get to know you. You'll find students from all backgrounds, and no two colleges are alike. And when it comes to cost, they're more affordable than you think. Find the college that's right for you at mnprivatecolleges.org/possible. That's mnprivatecolleges.org/possible.
Support comes from the Walker Arts Center. Local artist Rosie Simas, Seneca Nation of Indians, Huron Clan, embodies Onondaga philosophies of peacemaking and relationality in new immersive installation. Visit Agejagwa Desnigowaweni. I hope it'll stir your mind and explore a space built for communal rest and contemplation. Simas presents a performance of the same name this May. Learn more about the exhibition and performance at walkerart.org.
I'm Lieutenant Governor Peggy Flanagan, and I want to be your next United States Senator, and you are listening to Native Roots Radio.
Welcome back to Native Roots Radio Presents I'm Awake, and this is Robert Pilot. Hey, welcome back, everyone. This is Robert Pilot, and this is Native Roots Radio. Hey, we are with our friends, Dr. Stately from the Native American Community Clinic, almost said Development Institute again, and Sarah Andersen. Great to have you both on. And I was just really, we talk about what you guys do, but I really want to talk more about what you guys do. And I had an opportunity just to stop in for a few minutes, what was happening this weekend, and just to see what's going on, Dr. Stately. And I think, the work that you guys do, and Sarah, really needs to be amplified and talked about, especially during these dark times. We really need some positivity. So welcome, Dr. Stately. And Sarah.
Thank you. Yeah, Sarah. Sarah was on a couple weeks ago, so most people probably know her, but we should introduce who she is. So Sarah Andersen is our development director, but I'm going to go ahead and let her introduce herself to the listening audience.
Bonjour, everyone. My name is Sarah Andersen. I'm the development director at NAC from the White Earth Nation, Craig Clan. And yeah, I'm excited to be a guest again today. Thank you, Robert.
Yeah, it was great, and great to have you both on, and had a great conversation with you while you were trying to get ready for this big weekend, and was really slowing down your jam with the jokes and stuff. But I thought I'd get you on here and talk about a few things that you do. And why don't we talk a little bit about what happened this weekend and why it's so important, and how it's kind of a shift from something that's needed in the community, because we really try and support our women and our young people, but this is something kind of new that you and Dr. Stately have been working on and doing.
Yeah, I mean, well, this was our 4th year actually of doing this. So it started out with a men's summer camp, and really just answering to the need that was being expressed among men in the community. And so I think as a woman, my role is really to uplift their voices and to help create space for them to be able to do that. And so we started with just the summer camps, and now we incorporated also a winter camp because, as you know, there's a lot of teachings around the winter time and storytelling. So we found that to be important to do that as well. So this camp takes place generally at either in Mound, Minnesota. There's a camp out there that is able to accommodate a pretty large number of people. And then at that camp, we bring in other Native men to do teachings, like whether it's like in the summertime where it's filleting fish, potentially like this time we skinned rabbits, and then we cook, we make that food. We also do other teachings like hand drums, drumsticks. We did that, wasna or pemmican making. Yeah, just a lot of good teachings.
Well, Dr. Stately, this kind of came to be where people were kind of asking you, well, what about men? Men need healing. There's people that need to come back to community. And this is kind of a way that you guys are working on to reintroduce the men back into the community, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it was also, I've been talking to a number of people in the community over the years. I think it's about 4 years ago before we started the camp. And it actually, I would say that it actually happened fairly rapidly. Like, it started with a brief conversation I had with Sarah. I can't remember exactly what the conditions were under that, but we were talking about, her and I, when we're left alone to our, to our dastardly devices, we always come up with stuff. So, we have a few people at the clinic that don't really like us to be sort of like, co-conspirating together, because it always means more work for somebody, right? Anyways, but this was a really beautiful experience for us, I think. And I would say that for myself personally, as a Native man, and and specifically a Native Two-Spirit man, well into my my later decades in life, I have come to appreciate this more and more every time I go to a camp. And Sarah's the kind of auntie who will just tell you the truth, right? She'll just say it right to your face, like, not really mince words either. But I remember one time, like, I think I didn't go to the first camp, and I forget the reasons why. It was probably around the same time that I usually go to Sundance or something like that. Something to do with my kids, probably, because they were still in high school at the time we started the first camp. But I remember her saying to me, like, you have to come to this camp. You have to come and see what these men are doing, to come and see and be here, right? And she kind of gave me a little anti-scolding, like, you're a leader in the community. You should be in this space, and be with these men and see what they're doing and experience it. So I went to the second one. And there was just some, over the years, there's been some just really beautiful things that have kind of evolved from this particular camp that we do with men. Started with the summer camp, then and then one day we're just talking about, like, how beautiful it was and what an amazing experience was, and men wanted another one. They didn't want to wait for another year either. So she was like, we should just do a winter camp. And I was like, oh, that's a good idea. Like, how much do you think that's going to cost? And we didn't really have money for it or any of those things, but this woman can make money happen. She can make it. Yeah, it's just kind of crazy. So she's been a total gift to us. But from my perspective, and this really did hit home for me this weekend when I was participating in this men's camp this time around, just the amount of, like, healing that happens for myself. Even, I'm in my 60s, and I'm learning some of these things for the first time alongside them. Some of these men are in their early 20s or 30s, and so it's part of it. I think is a really beautiful thing is I'm learning along with them, and in that space. I'm not the executive officer of NAC. In that space, I'm just another man in a community of men that are sort of showing up and being there to support one another and, and give love and support and those things. And it's really beautiful. And for me, I think I told Sarah this over the weekend. I said, I grew up, being, bullied and traumatized and all these things by a number of Native men. When I was in boarding school, some of the people that harmed me and physically and sexually assaulted me were Native men. So I carried this sort of like this pain and this ambivalence and this fear of being around Native men in certain spaces, a good portion of my life, I think. And this being in this space with them and being able to be my authentic self and be just who I am, I feel protected in that space. I feel taken care of. A couple of those young men were like, helping this old man in and out of the sweat lodge, and things like that. None of them laughed at me when I didn't have any shorts to wear. I had to go into the lodge in my chonies.
Oh, I should have been there.
Jeez, Louise. I'll hold a special. I'll hold a special sacred lodge just for you if you want to see me in my chonies. We'll fundraise off of it.
There you go. It's kind of like a water dunk, outside the
sorta, kind of, yeah.
Kind of, but not really. So,
but for me, that was like a really big awakening. I had that moment this weekend when I was like in space with them, and I was like, just like even our darkroom ceremony this weekend was like, I just had a really, it's really powerful. I felt different after I walked out.
And that's what it's all about. The things, and Sarah, I was there and I didn't see you. You were up late, ceremony with everybody, and I couldn't find my hand drum that you made me. So I left, and I was kind of mad, I think. No, I wasn't mad. But it was cool. And, the vibe was great, Dr. Stately, and I'm going to give it a big shot to try and come out to the next one in June. What did you say?
Yeah, I'm thinking June or July.
Well, don't make it too hot because, I'll be wearing shorts there and getting too hot in the, the ceremony. But so there's
that's suffering good.
Yeah. Hey, ho. So I'm going to just pass up rabbit harvesting and talk a little bit about the drum. I saw, in all seriousness, I saw a lot of well-painted drums, and I kind of was like, wow, that's amazing. And just having the opportunity, and I know people had beautiful feathers that they were doing things with, and I believe for myself personally, this would be a great, not only refresher course, but a good course for me to learn these things.
Yes, for sure. And I think there's so many different ways to, make hand drums too, that it kind of gives that opportunity to share like multiple teachings as well. So you have to come out, Robert.
Yeah. Yes. Dr. Stately, did you make a hand drum?
I did not. Did not make a hand drum because I was late too, but yeah, so you and I will have to go this summer and make a hand drum together if we do hand drum making. But we have hand drum making, so we don't even, I think one of the things I want to make clear too is like we don't do these things just once or twice a year during our camps. Our camps are definitely designed specifically, I think, to do all of these kinds of activities and learn together, but they're also intended specifically to build relationship, right? I think the most powerful thing that's happening in those camps are the men are like building relationships. Either they're building trust. They know that they have somebody they can rely on when they're struggling, somebody to talk to, somebody can help them through. Many of those men are in early recovery or even in long-term recovery. Like myself, I've been 40 years sober. We need spaces where we can feel confident to be able to do that, where we can be, where we can feel confident that we can rely on somebody to listen to us and know that they're just going to listen. They're not going to judge. They're not going to, tell us what we did wrong, all those things.
Hey, this is Native Roots Radio. We heard Dr. Stately and Sarah Andersen of Native American Community Clinic. We're going to talk more about what the work you do and how great it is. And we'll be right back after the short break. Ho!
Ever wonder how far you could go with a bachelor's or master's degree? Metro State University is hosting 2 open house events in February. Learn about our bachelor's degree programs on February 24th, explore master's degrees, doctoral degrees, and graduate certificates on February 26th. Find out about financial aid options and how to apply. Discover how Metro State can help you take the next step in your career. Sign up today at metrostate.edu/open house. You belong at Metro.
Support comes from the Walker Arts Center, an art space that's more than the spoon and cherry. Galleries celebrate contemporary visual art, including indigenous artists like Edgar Heap of birds from the Cheyenne and Arapaho nations, and Jim Demeny from the Ojibwe Nation. Additionally, film screens, cinema, and performances are shown on stage. And the Walker is free every Thursday night and free every day for citizens and members of tribal nations. Learn more at walkerart.org. Aho, this is Robert Pilot. For Native relatives, healing is more than just sobriety. It's reclaiming indigenous masculinity as a sacred, balanced force. Join Hunter Thundercloud for Native Roots Radio presents Controlled Fire. We explore how personal recovery uplifts our communities. It's time men step back into roles as mentors and spiritual leaders. Recovery is collective, and it starts. Tune in the first and third Wednesday of every month at 6 p.m. for Native Roots Radio presents Controlled Fire. Let's tend the fire together. Rebuilding Together Minnesota provides critical home repairs and safety modifications at no cost to low-income homeowners, with a focus on supporting BIPOC communities across Minnesota, because everyone deserves a safe place to live. If repairs feel out of reach, help is available. Their work helps older adults stay independent, support families, and strengthens neighborhoods. Apply during the application window through March 31st. Visit rtmn.org and select Apply for Help, or call 651-776-4273. Rebuilding Together Minnesota, where neighbors help neighbors.
The city of Minneapolis is now on Native Roots Radio with Minneapolis AIR. AIR stands for American Indian Relations. Guest host Christine McDonald talks to people about important things affecting the city's Native communities. Minneapolis AIR dives into topics like public safety, public health, elections, and so much more. Tune in to Minneapolis AIR on Native Roots Radio from 5 to 6 p.m. on the second Wednesday of every month, right here on AM 950.
Support comes from the Walker Arts Center. Did you know that the Walker has a cinema that shows film almost every week? From artist talks, genre-defined performances, and world premieres to archival shorts and experimental soundscapes, the Walker Cinema explores all modes of global and local filmmaking. Get your first tickets for free. Visit walkerart.org/cinema to learn more. That's walkerart.org/cinema. See you at the movies.
Thinking about college? Consider Minnesota Private Colleges. These 18 nonprofit institutions keep the focus on students with small classes and professors who will get to know you. You'll find students from all backgrounds, and no two colleges are alike. And when it comes to cost, they're more affordable than you think. Find the college that's right for you at mnprivatecolleges.org/. That's mnprivatecolleges.org/possible.
With your AM 950 weather, I'm Patrick Lilia. Tonight, cloudy with a low of 17th, and Tuesday, a chance of rain and snow with a high of 37. The Great Wall has been your home for Chinese favorites since 1981. Don't miss the sesame chicken, mushu pork with Chinese pancakes, or Peking duck. Stop in at the restaurant on France Avenue and 45th Street along the Minneapolis-Edina City line, or check them out at greatwallrestaurant.us. ATNF AM 950, St. Louis Park, Minneapolis, St. Paul.
Welcome back to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, and this is Robert Pilot. Hey, welcome back, everyone. We are here, and this is Native Roots Radio, and we are here with Sarah Andersen, Development Director here, a White Earth Nation relative, and also Dr. Stately, CEO of Native American Community Clinic here in Minneapolis in the Twin Cities. And we're talking about a little bit about the men's winter camp, but also what else you do. And, you know, when we usually get together, Dr. Stately, we're kind of talking about what's happening in the community and what's happening, nationally and things like that. And I'm glad we have an opportunity to kind of talk about what you and Sarah and the other people that are at the clinic do for our community. So welcome back, you two.
Thank you. Yeah, I think I want to give some airtime to Sarah here and let her talk a little bit about how we got to the place where we started this, where it came from, and also the work that her team does. She has an amazing team of people. I think, one specific person that we want to make sure we give some shout outs to, because he really is the heart of that camp for the last several years. And yeah, we will all let her describe all that and talk about it.
Yeah, so where this was really born out of too is, I think it's important that the people that do this work, they obviously have a love and appreciation for Native men. And I know, me personally, I've lost a lot of my Native men relatives to substance abuse. And I think that a lot of that work that I'm doing with the men comes from just that love and that support that I want to give to them as a woman, as a relative, as family. So that's kind of where that kind of started from for me. And then Mizaway Dejarli, he's my accomplice in this work. And he is really, really the best partner in crime that I could, ever have. And his heart is in that as well. And he does a really good job of being a role model too for them, and shares that same vision that we have to really create space for Native men to learn and to develop connections with one another. And you have to forgive me because I actually should have taken a day today to kind of sit with everything that happened this weekend. I think that that's really important when you're in ceremony, and probably why we have those 4 days, that we dedicate, and then we have a rest, so that I can really take everything in and, give that gratitude to Creator for everything. So I'm a little bit still processing everything. It was a really emotional, it always is. It's almost like you ride this high on love and, a healthy high of just everything that happens there and takes place. And I think, I told the men this weekend, how much good medicine that they bring, is, specifically to the group and just everybody who is there and to our communities. And I think they need that uplifting. They need to be reminded of that, especially coming from an Anishinaabe, that I feel safe with them. And I feel good in that space. They all respect me, and we respect one another. And I just feel really honored and blessed to even be there. It's helped a lot with my healing around, things that have happened to me, whether, it's my dad, how, I kind of grew up with crabby old dad kind of thing. And he had his own trauma and stuff. But, it just really healed me as well doing this work, which wasn't the intention that I really had. It was really just to uplift their voices and to help support them. And that reciprocity really just occurred kind of without that intention for me, where I just started to feel that healing happening and taking place. And I got to really listen to them being vulnerable, where they talk about their healing journey and how appreciative that they are to have this space to connect with one another, and to have that shared respect in that space, as well as to be able to participate in that ceremony.
Yeah. So do you have returning relatives, or is it different people each time? And I can see, you're working with a crabby elder and Dr. Stately, so that's probably healing too for your father. Holy.
Yes, it really is. We have a lot of, this is all built on trust. And I think that's too, another thing that I learned through this work is our 7 teachings. If you notice, trust isn't one of them, but all of those 7 teachings is what builds trust: honesty, humility, love, respect. That is what builds that trust for us to be able to do this. And I think, just like sharing those spaces builds that connection. And we always have people that come back, that return. We also partner with a Native men's treatment center, which is like really awesome to have that connection as well, because then they have kind of that like direct access through that partnership to join us. So yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome, because I know personally, just from personal stories I've heard and myself, is that when people come back to ceremony, it's such a healing thing, and it's part of recovery. And
Yes.
so that's an amazing thing. So one of the things I want to be careful too, because I hear it fills up really fast too, is to like really advertise when that's going to happen, or because you don't want 5,000 people across the country coming, but that would be a good problem.
Yeah, there's definitely a need for it. And, every year we've like expanded more and more and tried to increase the resources that contribute and make this all possible, to put that funding towards being able to accommodate more. So I've seen it grown it's grown big time, and that need is there. And I do want to say, like, it was really beautiful when we went back to NAC to bring like all the lodge blankets and everything back. When we left, we looked up in the sky, and there was, on Franklin Avenue, 3 red-tailed hawks circling us.
Oh.
And one let out a cry, which I won't try to imitate on the radio and embarrass myself.
That'd be good.
And then one dropped a feather down, and my little nephew is standing there, and he caught that feather in his hand. And I think, throughout the weekend, a lot of, myself included, and these men had many experiences like that, where, the Manitou or the spirits were really giving their blessing to that work that we're doing, and letting us know that they're watching, and that they see what's going on in a good way.
Well, that's awesome too. When you're spiritually fit, you see things like that and don't think of them as a coincidence. You think of them as really a gift, like you just said. Yeah, that's amazing. And I walk the river every day until I hurt my knee a week ago, and there's an eagle that flies over my head almost every day that I go down there, and I don't think I would have seen the sky with my low self-esteem prior to sobering up, and even in my sober days, Dr. Stately. I like what you said, that there's an opportunity to be honest and non-judging, and that really helps.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I see. I get to see from the perspective of it being, just a person in the space with them, kind of, sitting at the tables with them, talking with them, sitting at the fire with them, being in the lodge with them, being in ceremony with them. Those are really beautiful experiences, because it, there's a lot of people, and I think in the community, that put me on a pedestal and have some expectations of me because of my role. I'm just a common man, and there's nothing amazing about me other than the fact that I'm probably a better dancer than you.
I doubt that. And
I don't know.
Are we talking native dancing or disco era dancing?
Does it matter, really? Quite frankly,
it doesn't. It doesn't. Well, yeah.
I was the one that taught John Travolta how to do those moves.
Here, I thought you were going to say that Prince.
I can't quite do those splits like that.
No.
But it's just a really beautiful experience to be in that space, and to be, I think one of the most beautiful gifts that I get out of this whole experience is that, I had some small footprint in this process, in terms of sort of like being like, just saying to her, like, yeah, go do it. We'll find the money. If we don't have the money, I don't care where we find the money. Let's just do it, because it's something that needs to be done. It was a direct result of me talking to some of my own relatives who are men who had been in prison, or who had been in other situations where they didn't really know how to fit into our community, how to find a pathway back. And they were feeling a little lost or something like that. So, I grew up with a father. My father wasn't really in my life, right? I was raised by women, strong Indigenous women, who taught me, how to be the man that I am today. But, I'm a father now, and I have boys, and I've been raising boys for 18 years. And I see how important it is to be a father, and how important it is to be present, how important it is to be in a good place and in your right mind, and and how much these things that we're learning are important for them to understand as well. And I keep trying to get them to come, and they do come every once in a while, but unfortunately they're 18 and I can't make them do stuff anymore.
Yes, you can. There's blackmail. I'll when we're off air, I'll help you out with that. Sarah, one of the things I think Dr. Stately kind of touched on before we change the segment was that there's other things that go on too, not just twice a year. Can you talk a little bit about those? Oh, you're on mute somehow. Oh, wow.
We do a weekly drum group at NAC on Thursdays. And it's been really beautiful to watch that flourish as well. It started out pretty small, and now it's, consistent. And I think that's really like kind of the proof in the pudding, I think, and for our community is that consistency and being able to sustain programming, which can be challenging when we depend on the federal government to fund programming. But I've been able to, with, NAC and other partners, been able to make that work out. So, yeah.
Well, that's awesome. We're going to take a break here in 30 seconds, but I love this talk, and it makes me want to, show up in a good way. I know there's language for Ho Chunk and on Wednesday nights at their office, and a way to get involved and feel like you're in community and you are community. So I just appreciate this talk, and we're going to come back after this short break. This is Robert Pilot. For Native relatives, healing is more than just sobriety. It's reclaiming Indigenous masculinity as a sacred, balanced force. Join Hunter Thundercloud for Native Roots Radio presents Controlled Fire. We explore how personal recovery uplifts our communities. It's time men step back into roles as mentors and spiritual leaders. Recovery is collective, and it starts with us. Tune in the first and third Wednesday of every month at 6 p.m. for Native Roots Radio presents Controlled Fire. Let's tend the fire together.
The city of Minneapolis is now on Native Roots Radio with Minneapolis AIR. AIR stands for American Indian Relations. Guest host Christine McDonald talks to people about important things affecting the city's Native communities. Minneapolis AIR dives into topics like public safety, public health, elections, and so much more. Tune in to Minneapolis AIR on Native Roots Radio from 5 to 6 p.m. on the second Wednesday of every month, right here on AM 950.
Thinking about college? Consider Minnesota Private Colleges. These 18 nonprofit institutions keep the focus on students with small classes and professors who will get to know you. You'll find students from all backgrounds, and no two colleges are alike. And when it comes to cost, they're more affordable than you think. Find the college that's right for you at mnprivatecolleges.org/possible. That's mnprivatecolleges.org/possible.
Support comes from the Walker Arts Center, an art space that's more than the spoon and cherry. Galleries celebrate contemporary visual art, including Indigenous artists like Edgar Heap of Birds from the Cheyenne and Arapaho nations, and Jim Demeny from the Ojibwe Nation. Additionally, film screens, cinema, and performances are shown on stage. And the Walker is free every Thursday night and free every day for citizens and members of tribal nations. Learn more at walkerart.org.
Hi, I'm Jane Fonda, and you're listening to Native Roots Radio.
And we're back to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, and this is Robert Pilot. Hey, welcome back, everyone. We are here with our friend Dr. Stately and Sarah Andersen, a Native American Community Clinic here in the Twin Cities, Minneapolis, and talking about, the healing of men, which we don't talk a lot about here. And I'm glad we have this, I feel like I should be Carol Burnett there for a second. I'm glad we had this time together just to have a laugh or sing a song. Seems we just get started and before you know it. You remember that, Dr. Stately, don't you?
Just barely. I was so young when that.
You're younger than I am, darn it. Notice I said darn it. So So how do people, Sarah? How do people find out about these things? Where can we point people to, and how do they get a hold of the organization and things like that? Can you give us a little rundown on that?
Yeah, so our Facebook, we do a lot of announcements there. I think coming to drum group and just kind of like getting into community and getting involved in that way of being around those men is a really good way to kind of get involved in that. I used to post it, but it would just fill so quick. And so I'm kind of tweaking how we like put that out, because now it just became like a word of mouth thing, which again, I think really speaks to the need of this. Especially everything that's been going on in the world. These men have been out there supporting our communities, and they also need that time to be able to be around ceremony and to rest and refuel so that they can continue to be good medicine to others.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I mean, this year we didn't post at all. And we didn't like announce it. It just kind of all word of mouth, right?
Yeah.
And I think one of the things I think that talks about how powerful it is as well, right? That like people are talking about like, hey, I mean, we just finished the camp and they're already talking about the next camp. Like literally that the last day of the camp, they're like, talking about summer camp already. And, I don't know where we're going to find the money, but, we're going to be honoring our 4th year here, and 4 is a sacred number. So I was like, one of them was like, well, can't we do it longer? And I was like, yeah, wouldn't it be cool if we could do it for 4 days in honor of the 4th year? Kind of a little bit like like many of our ceremonies we do for 4 days, right? So maybe we can kind of do the same thing. But that means more money. So Sarah's got to get to work, and
it's
make it rain money from the sky, like we should always.
Well, it's interesting too, and what I really like is that it's free. I used to, when I first sobered up, Dr. Stately, I used to go to a silent retreat, and we'd pay whatever we could. Some people didn't pay anything because they couldn't. Other people, because it was a yearly thing, and it was Thursday to Sunday. And every week they had it, and but we went the same weekend, and it was an amazing thing. How do you go to a silent retreat? Well, nobody else is talking, so it's a lot easier than it sounds. But I mean, funding like that, or people sponsoring.
I was going to ask, like, how did you go to a silent retreat and actually not talk?
Well, I did bring an espresso machine, which was against the law back then, but I had to. I wouldn't do that now because I'd probably have a heart attack. But
you probably went to the same men's retreat that I went to. I remember when I living in California, I was doing some men's work, and I was in therapy, and this my therapist, this old guy who's no longer with us, Don Kilhafner, I love him. He changed my life. He was like, oh, you should go to this, to this retreat, and you're going to learn about all kinds of things that are really important for men to know. I mean, it was really based in some of the stuff I was trying to uncover in my own life, growing up without a father, being raised by, a mother who was a single mother, worked really hard, had 7 kids, just, leader in the community. And like, I had a lot of stuff that I needed to figure out in my young life. Right. And then the men that were in my life, her boyfriends or my siblings' fathers, were just not good men, not kind men at all, harmful. So I grew up with a really, really bad condition of not being able to trust men whatsoever, right? And so that was a big part. But I remember, like, when my first time going to one of those things, it was like, I can't even remember the guy's name. James Hillman was, I think, the guy he was a big movement in the men's movement back in the 80s, late 80s, early 90s. I went to this camp and I was like, we're making drums, and I'm like dancing and drumming around fires, and there were hardly, if not, I swear to God, I think I was the only Indian there, right? And so I was like, contrary to popular belief, we were not naked while we're dancing around those fires, by the way.
It sounds like Burning Man to me.
I know, right? And it's like, I've never done that either. So, but this experience, that was a powerful experience when I was younger, But I think one of the things that was really beautiful about this particular and all the sort of work I've done in my later life and going back into ceremony and participating in my Dakota families that have been hunkered into their sun dances, those things, that the role that ceremony played, not necessarily in getting me clean and sober, but like maintaining, you know, my ability to be a man in recovery, a sober man, guiding my decision making, helping me to understand what it means to be on this earth and walking this red road and being a good relative to everyone that I can possibly, the best relative I can be at any given moment. That is all that foundational work that I've done, and just, you know, being present and going to ceremony and being involved in those things. It is, the last 20 years of my sobriety have been qualitatively different than the first 20 years of my life, my sobriety, because of this, and because I've been able to reconnect to, you know, my original culture, my original instructions that has really changed my life. And so it's a big part of, I think, why I champion it and the work that we do, even within the clinic, the integration of traditional healing into our Western medical model. Why I'm a strong advocate for that, and the investment in that, and making sure that we have these resources available to all. I think this camp will grow over the years, and I know that, you know, as more men come, and they, you know, and you know, it's not a membership model. You don't have to, it's not like you're signing up for a thing. You come if you need it. You know, it's there. You come if you need it, if you want to be around other men and you want to be in this space. You just come, and I think we only had money for 30 people this year, and, you know, she figure out a way to get 5 more people in there, and, you know, chewed me out for taking a bottle from somebody else. But the point being is that, you know, one of the things I think I love about NAC, and I love about Sarah and my team, everybody in my team, when we see that the community responds to a thing, and we see that the community wants a thing, we figure out a way to do it. You know, even like if we don't have a plan for it, we're going to work really, really hard to find that pathway, right? And you know, one of the things I've learned to do over my life, over the last several years, is, you know, that myself as a human being, I don't have a lot of power. I don't have a lot of things, but when I don't know how I'm going to do a thing, I just say a prayer, put out some tobacco, say a prayer, ask Creator to cut my path, or cut our path, and something always comes of that, right? And it's usually almost 100% of the time, it's better than I could have ever imagined it, right? So, well,
I think we could have gone 2 hours and manifesting things. I've read that's a real thing.
Yeah, and I do want to say one last thing, because I think it's really important. I think too, at this camp, like and having this space, creating this space, and these men being around, like they can do this. You know, I'm not doing anything special. We're not doing anything special. These are like our inherent rights as Native people, and yeah, I think that's really important to say, and that's what is being shown to them, that they can also do this, and funding or not, we will find a way.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Well, you got 35, so I guess I didn't get a hoodie, so I'm still butthurt about the drum, but that'll be the next show we do.
Oh, hey, you know, you got to learn.
There you go. Hey, thank you so much, Dr. Stately and Sarah Andersen. This has really been a great show and very informative.
Thank you.
We'll see everyone tomorrow. This has been Native Roots Radio.
The city of Minneapolis is now on Native Roots Radio with Minneapolis